Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center, man. As you can see by the title, we're going to be breaking down some defensive film today. We're going to be breaking down Cooper Dejean. And man, it's crazy because I was having a conversation with a guy the other day and we was talking football. And we was just talking about positions. And I was telling him, I was like, man, outside of that defensive line, outside of a dominant interior lineman, like Aaron Donald and Jalen Carter, outside of a dominant edge rusher, outside linebacker like TJ Watt, Micah Parsons and things like that. I was like, one of the most important positions, especially with the game today, is that nickel corner, star corner, however you want to terminize it, but it's that nickel corner, man. And Cooper Dejean is one of the guys that plays that position at a high level, and it's so exciting to see because he's just a young guy, and we got more time on this. So a lot more time with his career if he can stay healthy and stay on the right track. So the first play right here, at first I thought I was fooled. You know, you always hear people talk about Vic Fangio and his defense, and you know that was the thing about the Super Bowl matchup, and they was talking about Spags defense versus a Vic Fangio defense and how Vic Fangio doesn't really blitz a whole lot, but is able to get pressure. So at first glance, I was like, okay, this is one of the few times I have seen him blitz, but no, it wasn't. So if you look at number 55, that's on the edge, he drops back. At first, you know, it's looking like they're in a 4-3, which is four down linemen and three linebackers. Right. So it looks like that. So he ends up dropping back into coverage. Boom. And you send Cooper Dejean out of the slot. So Cooper Dejean is coming out of the slot. Nobody's able to pick him up because they probably wasn't anticipating him coming in like that. So once he comes in, he jumps up. So Deshaun Watson was looking like he was finna try to get rid of the ball and maybe throw it to one of the backs right there. But what he does is he jumps up to kind of deter his vision, and he possibly could have picked it off as well. But he jumps up. Deshaun Watson double clutches, and he comes down and attempted to get a sack, but Deshaun Watson ended up getting rid of the ball. But that's just a heads up play in terms of Cooper Dejean to be like, okay, I'm probably not going to be able to get to him in time, so let me just jump up to try to deflect the ball. Let me jump up to try to intercept the ball. Let me just jump up and try to make a play on the ball. Regardless, he makes Deshaun Watson double clutch, and somebody gets a hold to him, and he comes and try to help finish it off. So this play right here, man, one thing I love about an athlete, especially in football, is a guy who can do multiple things, a guy who's multidimensional opposed to one-dimensional, right? You got plays where you see Cooper Dejean affecting the game on the defensive side of the ball, and now you see he's affecting the game on the special team side of the ball. So I always love that. And to me, that's a key factor of a guy who loves the game, a guy that looks for any opportunity to be able to stay on the field longer or to be able to try to contribute to his team. That shows me signs of a guy who really loves the game. So when you look at this play right here, to the naked eye, they might be like, oh, it didn't result in a touchdown, so it wasn't that good of a play. I'm going to tell you why it was. So you look at where he feels this punt. He feels this punt maybe at the 12, 13-yard line, and that's where offense would have had to take over from. And not saying that they're not capable, but if we can make their job a little bit less easy, a little bit less harder, let's try to do that if we're talking for our offense. So he feels the punt, takes it down close to half field. I think he ended up getting tackled maybe around like the 42, 43, 44, something like that. So now opposed to having to start at the 14, the offense can come and start off at the 44. And then you got to think we're dealing with the NFL. We're dealing with the best kickers in the world. So in college, depending on the range of your kicker, when you're in a certain position, you might not actually really be in field goal range, right? When you get to NFL now, a lot of these guys can put boot to the ball. So now you really think about it, you kind of put your team in a position to where if they get one first down or one explosive run or one explosive catch, one explosive yard run after the catch, they're already in field goal range. So regardless, we're coming up with 3 points at the end of this drive, opposed to being stopped at the 14 or somewhere a little bit after that. And now we got to punt the ball off. So that's what we consider hidden yardage, yardage that's gained from special teams and yardage that's gained from possible interceptions or fumbles or any turnovers like that. And also penalties, positive and negative. So those are things that we classify as hidden yardage. So on this play right here, man, you got one of my favorite scenarios in football. Gotta have it plays. Got a 4th-and-1 play. Cincinnati's trying to get the first down so they can try to put together a drive to go down and put up points. And they right there to where they can put themselves in field goal position if they get it. And then you got Philadelphia that's saying, nah, we ain't giving up nothing. We trying to put our offense on the field so we can try to put a dagger in this game. So right here, they started off with a little cat and mouse. So Cincinnati was in a bunch formation. The wide receivers were on very, very tight splits, meaning that they were closer to the offensive line. So if you kind of study film with Cincinnati, you know that Cincinnati kind of is a pass first team. They kind of embody some of the philosophies from the West Coast offense with, throwing the ball for a 1 yard gain, a 2 yard gain, or a 3 yard gain, whereas some teams say, man, you know what, we just going to outman y'all up front and try to hand the ball off. Now, granted, you got to know the situation too. Philadelphia obviously has a pretty good up front with Jalen Carter, Sweat, and all those guys. So you might analyze it and say, well, we can't win that battle, so we have to try to get a little bit more creative, and that's what they tried to do right here with this little kind of swing route to get the ball out in Jamar Chase's hands in space and let him work magic. You look at how they played the cat and mouse game at first with motioning, and then being able to give him a running start with Cooper Dejean still locked in on him. And it's like Cooper Dejean is seen as soon as he's recognized the place, diagnosed the play, he just drove downhill and made a play on the ball. Now, this is also where what's the word I'm looking for? Consistency come in with a defense as a whole. So that's when we talk about rallying to the ball, putting hats to the ball, and that's pursuing the ball. Because let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Cooper Dejean misses that tackle. You got a guy right there behind him. I think that's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson that possibly can follow up off of a miss. And that's, so that's one of the importance when you hear about people talking about, and especially when you hear me talking about defense as a whole, I always talk about swarming to the ball, pursuing the ball. That's what I mean by that. But phenomenal play by Cooper Dejean. Now, this right here is one of the most beautiful plays you're going to see. As you can see, once again, it's another guy to have a situation and another guy to have a situation. Cooper Dejean comes up with the pass deflection. So look at what they're trying to do. So if you look at the outside receiver number 11, his goal is going to be, for one, you see that they're in a tight formation, meaning that everything is more condensed. Everything is together. So what they're trying to do is create possible mismatches. And for the most part, you know that whatever they do is either probably going to be a vertical attack or it's going to be an outer attack just based off of alignment, because that's pretty much all that they can do. Now, the goal of this could be to create mismatches, to get a skilled guy matched up on a guy that's probably not the best in cover situations. Another possibility of it is to create pick and rub routes like they're trying to do here. So notice that Cooper Dejean, you look at his eyes. Watch. Notice his eyes. Watch his eyes. His eyes is looking. His eyes is looking. His eyes is watching. So he realizes that number 11 is trying to set a pick. Now, granted, look at how him and Quinyon Mitchell, how they're not both on the same level. So Charles Woodson called it locking levels. So if they would have been right next to each other level wise, that most definitely would have worked, because it would have been hard for either or to get out of each other's way to avoid that. So by Cooper Dejean being a little bit more underneath and Quinyon Mitchell being a little bit over the top and even taking that step backwards, it allows him to take number 11, and then it allows Cooper Dejean to drive and make the play on Ingram. Now, you can say, okay, debatable that it could have been pass interference, yeah, but I'm just looking at the awareness for him to be aware of what's going on and being able to react so fast. So when you see plays like this comes from film study, because when you study a team, when you study an offense, you know what they do, you know what they like when they down and distance, you know who they got to have it players are, you can anticipate what they're going to do, and it allows you to play fast and allows you to play smart. So in this play right here, notice how you see LA, they are in a tighter split receiver wise, meaning that they closer to the offensive line. So for the most part, you probably can guarantee that there's something that's going to be outward breaking on that whenever they lined up like that. So over on the strong side, you have Cooper Dejean lined up in a slot with Cooper Kupp, who is a phenomenal receiver, phenomenal route runner, and phenomenal with the ball after the catch. So when I break down film a lot of times and we run into those on one-on-one matchups with receivers and DBs, one of the things that I always say hurts a lot of DBs is not getting physical at the line. So offenses is all about timing. It's all about timing. The quarterback is expecting the receiver to be in this specific spot at this specific time. It's drilled throughout the week with practices, right? So whenever we're playing press man, getting our hands on these receivers, it slows down that timing, and slowing down the timing just a few seconds can be a very deciding factor in a play working or a play not working. So even on this play right here, you look at Philadelphia, they only had a 4-man blitz. I thought that they was going to be sending a linebacker, like he went forward, like he was going to blitz, and then he ended up picking the running back up. And if the running back never would have went for a pass, he probably would have ended up being a blitzer, kind of like a free guy, because the running back is in the backfield anticipating the pass. But right here, they didn't. So the pressure eventually started to kind of started to collapse on them. Matthew Stafford, obviously, we know is not a mobile quarterback. So at the end of the day, he got to try to get rid of the ball, and the ball was going to Cooper Kupp. You could tell that was their only read on that play, and Cooper Dejean did a good job with getting physical with him at the line of scrimmage and being able to break up the pass. And not to mention, that was a 3rd and 4, gotta have it moment to, possibly slow down the offense from scoring, or to deter the offense from possibly scoring a touchdown. Man, this is so much to love on this play right here. This is just beauty at its finest, man. How many times have we seen Derrick Henry on the receiving end of being put on his behind? We've seen him do it to a multitude of players, man. A multitude of players. And I know some people are going to say, oh, it's because he wasn't moving. He was standing still. He had just caught the pass, which, okay, cool. I give you that, the possibility. But still, how many times have we seen that? So if you look at this play, like Philadelphia was in some type of zone on this play, because if you look at Cooper Dejean, you see him kind of backpedaling, and you kind of see him, communicating, it looks like, with the outside corner, probably, who was Quinyon Mitchell, about something. That's one thing I love about him too. And I meant to say that in the previous clip. If you look at the previous clip before, he was communicating there too. And those are all tales of a great defense. Now, granted, if it was me, on this defensive rep, the only thing that I didn't like from a team perspective is I would have kind of much preferred to see them pursuing the ball more than just 2 people, obviously, because let's just say, for instance, those 2 miss a tackle. That's a first down, right? When you're dealing with guys like Derrick Henry, when you're dealing with physical power runners, the keys to that is gang tackling. It's not all about one-on-one situations. Now, granted, Cooper Kupp was able to stand on 10 in his one-on-one situation with making that play, but you much prefer having help just in case he's not able to make that play. But, man, this is just form tackling at his best. He comes downhill, he squares up, he leads with his head up, not with his head down. He sees what he tackles, and he just drive his feet and, drive Derrick Henry into the ground. And then, that's also a gotta have it moment for me. You look at it, it's a 3rd 11. Defense is probably trying to get off the field, bring the offense on the field to kind of probably put this game away, or, go into the 4-minute offense and try to run some time off the clock. And if some points come from it, that's cool too. But, and you see the execution on the Eagles' part with getting the pressure they had up front, making Lamar have to get rid of it, and Cooper Dejean driving downhill and making the tackle. And like I said, man, this is just beautiful. Man, I can sit there and watch this play over and over and over and over again, man. This is defense at its finest, man. Look at that. This is defense at its finest, man. This kid has grit. This kid has he just has that it factor, man. You can tell that a lot of preparation comes behind his game, because when you see a guy that's reacting just so quickly to things, he's diagnosing things. These are things that he's seeing in film study. So once he's seated formation and he see what's taking place, man, he drives and makes a play, just similar to this one, as well as a lot of his other plays, man. So a lot of that comes from preparation, and a lot of that comes from execution. So right here on this play, it's a little bit to unpack. So if you look at number 58, he kind of overly shoots the B gap. So I'm not quite sure if that was designed, if that was a stunt for him to overshoot, boom, and then the safety or the linebacker to try to get through and fill that hole. The offensive lineman did a good job at getting up to the next level and being able to get the linebacker kind of blocked. And then the safety came down as if he was going to fill the hole. But look at what Cooper Dejean, he did a good job at outside containing. He engaged with Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, like, he did not want to block it out. I'm going to be completely honest with you. He gave minimal effort to even try to block Cooper Dejean. So Cooper Dejean was kind of just engaged with him. He didn't overly pursue. He just waited. He was patient, and he let the running back decide what he was going to do, and he dictated that based off of that. So once he seen that the running back was going to try to bounce it outside, guess what? He sheds the tackle, boom, right there. And the running back just goes down. So he didn't want to get hit. But, that was just good awareness on Cooper Dejean. Like I say, man, just watching this guy, and it's crazy to think that he's a rookie, because he makes plays consistently. And some of the stuff that I see him doing is things that normally you would say, okay, those are things that veterans do, guys that's been played in the league at this highest level for years and years, and he makes a lot of high IQ plays. And it shows you too, like I said, once again, it goes back to just the understanding of the game, the IQ, because when you look at Cooper Dejean, obviously he's probably not the most physically gifted in terms of cornerbacks, but what he lacks there, he makes up with his preparation for one, and he also makes up with his effort. So it don't take talent, it don't take this ridiculous speed, this ridiculous vertical, this ridiculous footwork to be able to give high effort on play after play after play. So on this play right here, man, two things stood out to me. For one, he closes distance very, very, very quickly. Like I said, it's like he's able to recognize and react very fast. So he's able to close the distance very quickly, as you've seen here, but you've seen on previous plays as well. And then something I'm also noticing too, like I said, the previous play with him tackling Derrick Henry, being able to make those open field tackles, that's a very key centerpiece to a defense, a successful defense, or a good, strong defense. Aggressive defense is being able to make those open field tackles to take a game that might have been, let's just say, for instance, if Cooper Dejean misses this tackle. If he misses this tackle on his receiver, man, that's probably a touchdown 9 times out of 10. Then you got number 32 who might would have got him before he got in, but it takes a play that was probably only going to be a 2-yard gain and turns it into a 3 or 4 or 5-yard gain, and it puts them in prime real estate to be able to score a touchdown. So he was able to close the distance. He's able to close the difference very, very quickly, and then he's able to make good open field tackles to minimize gains. All right, so great awareness on this play right here from Cooper Dejean. He realizes that the receiver is already tackled at that point right there. They already got him wrapped up, and he just comes in and starts ripping at the ball and is able to force a fumble on that play right there. So that's just heads up IQ to realize that, okay, they've got the tackle secured. So really at the end of the day, he ain't going nowhere. So the longer that he stays up, the greater the chance I have at pulling that ball out of his hand, which he does here. And he also recovered that fumble as well. All right, so obviously the icing on the cake for this video is going to be his pick 6 in the Super Bowl on Patrick Mahomes. And, that just was a phenomenal play on his end, and kind of a unfamiliar play on Patrick Mahomes and, kind of making that type of mistake. You see that he rolls out to the right on that play right there. He rolls out to the right. And when you roll out to the right, especially when you roll out the pocket, whether it's to the right or whether it's to the left, you only limit yourself to one side of the field when you roll out to the right. And he did a #1 cardinal sin when it comes to being to quarterbacking, especially in the NFL. You can get away with this in high school. You can get away with this in college, but in the NFL, this is a cardinal sin. You never roll out and throw back across the body. And I seen the receiver that he was looking at, but he didn't anticipate Cooper Dejean being there either. And Cooper Dejean just read his eyes the entire time, made a perfect play on the ball. And you see his punt return skills after the interception to be able to take it to the house. So, man, like I said, man, this kid is was exciting to watch. I don't know why I'm saying kid, but this young man is exciting to watch, man. I would say that him and Kyle Hamilton, I probably would say, are two of my most favorite secondary players to watch as of right now. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other studs around too. I just haven't really got around to them. But I enjoyed watching, being able to break down film from this young man. He's, like I say, man, he's phenomenal, man. He's a high effort player. He gives you effort play after play after play. And I know a lot of that starts in practice, whether he has that type of approach to practice, whether it's film study, seeing him being able to read and react, because he's able to diagnose things quickly and he's able to close the distance very, very fast. He's a physical player. He's able to make consistent open field tackles. It was a play I was going to put in here prior to this one where he was able to make an open field tackle on Xavier Worthy. You've seen what he did on Derrick Henry. You've seen what he did in the LA Rams game. And then he's doing it on both ends. He's doing it from the tackling end, and he's doing it from the defending end. You seen it was plays in the Rams game where he was making plays on Puka Nacua. You seen the play in the Jaguars game where he was able to make a break on the ball for Ingram, avoid the pick, and come up and make the pass breakup. So, man, this dude right here is just an overall baller. Philadelphia, man, I think that y'all got y'all a stud for the next few years. So I'm excited to see his growth and development from year to year to year, because I think it's probably only going to be up from here. But, man, if you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that notification bell. That way you be notified every time I upload. And I'll see y'all in the next video.